Hi guys, good morning. Today we're going to do notes, GCF, grouping, and difference of squares. Okay, the link below these problems are the completed notes that we did from chapter 7. We're talking about greatest common factor, where we have to find the GCF, pick the smallest exponent, divide in the numbers, subtract the exponents. Those are the first 4 problems. 5, 6, 7, and 8 has to do with grouping. Okay, that's the next page, factor by grouping. Find the GCF for the first 2 terms, the second 2 terms, take what is outside as your first binomial, take what is inside, must be the same as your second binomial. And then the last 4 problems has to do with difference of squares. Difference of squares. Okay, 2 terms must be a subtraction sign, and both terms must be perfect squares. To take the difference of squares, take the square root of each, 1 plus, 1 minus. All right, here we go. So, to find the, first of all, this assignment, okay, is going to be 20 problems on Sophia, which you will have to authorize. It should take 2 seconds. It's going to be due Wednesday the 8th at 11:30, okay? Sorry about that. All right, first problem. Greatest common factor of 14 and 10 is 2. And then GCF of N10 and N6 is the smallest exponent, which is N6. Divide in your numbers, subtract the exponents. 2 into 14 goes 7, and 10 minus N6 is N4. 2 into 10 goes 5, and your N6's cancel. N6 minus N6 is N0, and any number to the 0 power is 1. Next, number 2. Greatest common factor of 72, 24, and 16 is 8. If you don't know that, you can go ahead here and do the greatest common factor tree. 72, 24, and 16. Okay, give me a number that goes into each one. If you think that it's 8, which it is, that's 9, 3, and 2. Okay, so 8 is your GCF. Dividing your numbers, subtract your exponents. You get 9. 8 into 24 is 3n, and 8 into 16 is 2n3. Okay, why is n not a GCF? Because the n has to be in each term. Okay, next, 3, 21, and 30. 3, 21, and 30 is 3. X6, X4, X5 is X4. Y3, Y1, Y2 is Y1. Divide in your numbers, subtract your exponents. 3 into 3 is 1. X6 minus X4 is X2. Y3 minus Y1 is Y2. 3 into 21 is 7. X4's cancel, and Y1's cancel. 3 into 30 is 10, and X5 minus X4 is X1, and Y2 minus Y1 is Y1. And finally, 28, 21, and 28 is 7. X6, X6, X6 is X6. Y2, Y1, no Y is no Y. Divide in your numbers, subtract your exponents. You get 4. X6 is cancel, and that's Y2. 7 into 21 is 3. X6 is cancel, and Y. 7 into negative 28 is negative 4, and your X6 is cancel. And those are your first 4 problems of GCF. The next 4 problems. The next 4 problems are factoring by grouping. With grouping, you need 4 terms. Factoring, you need 4 terms. Okay? Greatest common factor of the first 2 is 5a2. Divide in your numbers, subtract your exponents. 5 into 10 is 2. A3 minus A2 is A1. 5 into 25 is 5, and your A2's cancel. Okay, next. Greatest common factor of the next 2 terms is 4. Dividing your numbers, subtract your exponents. 4 into 8a is 2a, and 4 into 20 is 5. Dividing your numbers, subtract your exponents. Okay, next, take what is outside. What is outside is 5a squared plus 4, and bring it down as your first binomial. Take what is inside, make sure it's the same. If it's not the same, you messed up on your math. And bring down as your next binomial, and that is your answer. Okay. Next. Greatest common factor of the first two. 8b2. Dividing your numbers, subtract your exponents, and you're left with b minus 3. Now, greatest common factor of the second two. When you have a problem like this, you have either the middle two terms or the last two terms are minuses. You have to take out a negative, because remember, your next parenthesis needs to look like v minus 3. So you're going to have to take out a negative 1, because you have nothing in common here. Negative v divided by negative 1 is positive v. Positive 3 divided by negative 1 is negative 3. Take what is outside, v squared minus 1, and then v minus 3. Okay, greatest common factor of the next two. And greatest common factor of 7 and 6 is a 1. A3 and A2 is A2. And you're left with 7a minus 6. Greatest common factor of the next two is a 5, and you're left with 7a minus 6. Take what is outside, a squared plus 5. Take what is inside, make sure it's the same, 7a minus 6. And finally, greatest common factor of the first two, 32 and 8 is 8. M and M is M. N and nothing is nothing. And we're left with 4 n minus 1. Greatest common factor of the next two is 7 and n2. And we're left with 4 n minus 1. Take what is outside, 8m plus 7n squared, and then 4n minus 1. Okay, those are your grouping problems. Okay, our last four problems have to do with difference of squares. Okay, they have to do with difference of squares. With these problems, okay, they have two terms. They have two terms. All right, here they have to have a minus sign, two terms, and both terms need to have perfect squares. Okay, so number 9 does. Take the square root of each, 1 plus 1 minus. Square root of 9, 3 and 3, 1 plus, 1 minus. Does not matter the order, it could be plus minus or minus plus, because when you FOIL it back, your inners and outers cancel. Number 10, two terms, but if you notice, this is not a minus. Okay, so therefore it's not a difference, and you can't do it, so therefore it's prime. Number 11, minus sign, both are perfect squares, and there's two terms. So take the square root of each, 8p, 8p, 9q2, 9q2, 1 plus, 1 minus. And finally, number 12 has two terms and a minus sign, but if you notice, 5 and 125 are not perfect squares. So therefore, you have to look for a GCF. Greatest common factor is a 5, and you're left with m squared minus 25. Hey, but m squared minus 25, that's a difference of squares. M plus 5 and m minus 5. And of course, when you get this answer, you have to show your work of this first step. Bring down the 5 and m squared minus 25. And there you have it, guys. Here are your 12 problems, which will help you with your 20 problems that you have to do on Sophia, which is due on Wednesday, the 8th at 11:30 p.m. Okay, your next lesson will come out on Wednesday, due on Sunday. And that's all, guys.